I forgot to record myself waking up, but you can imagine it looked something like this. My sisters and I embarked on a trip that we had made many, many times before, but never on our own. It was pretty exciting. On the car ride down, I read The Naked Citadel and contemplated the many cultural differences between the part of America I was reading about and the part to which we were headed that day. One of the first things I noticed at WonderCon was the science fiction outreach project, which was giving away free books. I definitely grabbed myself a Star Trek book. I thought it was fantastic seeing people of all ages take advantage of this. Side note, I totally saw this man in a mobile chair meet the original Captain Pike. So the thing about places like WonderCon is that you never quite feel like you're in a room full of strangers. Even if you don't go with a group of friends like I did, you see characters that you grew up with represented at every turn. After getting a little lost and almost falling down some stairs, as I am wont to do, I finally found my way to the webcomics panel. Webcomics are by no means new, but it was still nice to see that this panel gathered an audience of both creators and non-creators alike. I, of course, had to allot about 60% of my note-taking paper to doodles, but I was happy to look around and see I wasn't the only person with my sketchbook out for note-taking. Going across the street to a place as familiar as Starbucks and seeing people still in costume made me wonder, what exactly is it about events like this that makes us put our personal reservations on hold? Most of us would never just stroll into a coffee shop dressed up as our favorite character. But for some reason, in this place and on this day, it's perfectly okay. It's also perfectly okay to sing as loud as you can along with the Decemberists. But that's always okay. After waking up at 5-something and laying in bed for an hour or so, I finally remembered that I was supposed to film myself waking up, but it was too dark anyway. But that's all okay, because I had some important news.
Neil Gaiman just tweeted at me to tell my car group to not make me late.
Yeah, so Neil Gaiman tweeted at me. No big.
You are really driving very, very fast. So poor thing. Then I'm the Yeti. Yeti is your one. I'm the Yeti! Yeti, no way. So that was Yeti violence. Ah!
So apparently Doctor Who is popular enough to make us have to stand in line all the way on the other side of the building. Who knew? I, of course, had with me my trusty sonic screwdriver, which was not working because I couldn't get the batteries in because I didn't have a screwdriver. Meanwhile, Tawny was going for full authenticity with her costume. Anyone who follows me on Twitter probably knows how anxious I was that we weren't going to be able to get into the panel, but all that worry was for naught. As the day was winding down, we met up with some friends and headed over to the Golden Gate Bridge. Even though I've been to San Francisco a million times, I've only crossed the Golden Gate Bridge a few times, so today we wanted to walk on it while the sun set. Unfortunately, my battery was dying, so you don't get to see the point where I realized I had lost much of my fear of heights, though my fear of jumping, of course, remains. But I guess there's just a lot we don't get to see.